from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Report.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Forecaster John Bordash, looking a little bit more casual for you this afternoon. It's been a nice, mellow day to get started with. Those of you that watch all the time let me know if you can hear me before we get too underway. But I wanted to do this update now because I think the more I thought of it, doing an update this evening is going to be difficult to at least get viewers to tune in because we're going to have football going on. And if you're not someone who watches football, then I know you would have tuned in. But and awesome people are saying they can hear me. So, yeah, we are continuing to track the winter storm. And I hated, but yes, winter storm. It's a storm happening in winter with some winter weather that is still on track to move through the region Sunday into Monday. We've spent the better part of a week talking about it. And as we continue to get closer to the event, we continue to see the picture come in a better focus. And I used this analogy a couple live streams ago, and I think it really serves well when we're talking about storm threats, especially in the long range, like 7 to 10 days out. It's like and this isn't the way photography works, I don't think, and people who do photography can tell me if I'm wrong. But let's say you take a picture and it's super blurry. You can maybe make out what's going on, but not so much. But the closer we get into an event, the better the picture is. You're able to define what's going on in the picture, so the blurriness goes away. So we're like developing a photo almost. And now we're about 24 hours out from the start of the storm. We have a much better idea what's going on than we did a day ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago when we first started talking about it. So right now we do have a winter weather advisory that has been hoisted for locally King George, Charles, PG, and Arundel County. And then points off to I-95 and just west of I-95. Those are those purple shaded counties there. So that would be from 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 1 a.m. Monday morning. That's where you could see a brief burst of snow of 1 to 2 inches. You could see some sleet and freezing rain, but under 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation. Some minor impacts, but nothing too bad. I wouldn't recommend travel in those counties tomorrow, and we'll go through the timing here in a second. But the winter storm warning out west, where you see those pink sheeted counties, that really kind of shows you where the highest impacts for this will be. Winter storm watches are still in effect down towards parts of like Caroline County in Virginia, and then South Central PA. So all of my friends and family up here in South Central PA still under a winter storm watch, and those will get updated later on this afternoon. So that's just a general overview. This is the updated map I threw together earlier, and you can find this on Facebook and Twitter. I was thinking about doing a whole nother write-up for an updated forecast, but honestly, not much has changed on my end. The only thing that might have changed a little bit is that we're now looking at maybe the potential of a little bit more icing out west, but our local forecast hasn't changed, and I think the forecast I put out yesterday might just stand as a final call, because I don't think there's much updating that needs to get done to it. You might have noticed my forecast the last 3, 4, 5 days have not nearly been as cold and as snowy as some of the other forecasts you've seen. And there was a good reason for that, and I think we're seeing that kind of come together now with this. One thing I do want to touch on quickly, though, for you, let me bring it on in. Current temperatures, and it might be hard to read, but we're sitting in the upper 20s, lower 30s across the region this afternoon. It's a chilly one for you, and as we zoom out, this cold, really, we're seeing it bottled up here in southern parts of Canada, and it's making its way down. It was a cold morning, and we're going to keep the cold weather around. If I were to put on radar here for you, which would require me to briefly switch this on over here. There we go. We can see where our winter storm is right now. Trying to get a tech together, bringing some snow out here to southern Missouri, parts of Arkansas. We're eventually going to see this move into southern parts of Tennessee, North Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and eventually into our region. So what does the timing look like for us? Let's get on into that. Let me get you on over here to Futurecast. This actually just finished coming in. I was waiting for it to come in before we got too underway. Here's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Not much is going on. Let's push this forward here. See, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, even 10 o'clock, we're still sitting fine. And as we near lunchtime, let's get you to 12:15. most of our region is fine. Now, if you have any interest down here towards Richmond, you could be looking at some snow down there. Now, the caveat is the quicker the snow moves in tomorrow, the more snow we could see out of this. So if this snow were to move in at 10 or 11 o'clock, we could see some snow here in southern Maryland, and that's because we're going to have more cold air around. On the flip side, the later it moves in, the less snow or ice we're going to see. So let's bring it back on up here to our region. Let's get you moving here. So this is 1 o'clock. We see precip beginning to move in. Not really getting started though till 2. And you might notice this sometimes if you always look at the futurecast that I provide. You might notice this. This like area here that's being shown as that I circled in red, that's being shown as rain, but then you have snow to the south of it. This is all precip that is too light to actually be reaching the ground. So our program doesn't actually doesn't use the precipitation typing on it. So more than likely, everywhere kind of east of or west of that line I just drew, that would all be snow that's falling if it were indeed to be hitting the ground. So let's go ahead and clear that off, and let's get you back through this futurecast. Let's finish that. So 2 o'clock, we have precip beginning to move in. So in 3 o'clock, yeah, we start to see snow moving. It's the heaviest out west. You see that rain snow line already setting up across our region. Let's zoom in a little bit, and let's bring this back. You see, as it moves in around 2, maybe you get some initial flakes. And your best chance, that's going to be where you have that winter weather advisory. King George, Charles, PG, Anne Arundel counties. Maybe northern Calvert County, maybe northern St. Mary's County, but southern parts of those counties, you might see a quick half hour of snow. I don't think it accumulates that much. Maybe you get a dusting, but our model quickly brings you on over to rain tomorrow. And then we see that rain snow line really develop. The one thing that could try to give our area some snow, and this is what Futurecast has been trying to indicate a little bit. You see this band of heavier snow kind of set up from Richmond and just south of Baltimore. That's likely where sleet will start mixing in. Again, our program here doesn't do the best at precipitation typing, but it's really kind of this region I'm drawing in here for you. This is likely not heavy snow. That's likely going to be sleet. And you see on the flip side of that where you have it showing up as rain, it's a heavier rain. Maybe that's sleet too, but we're going to see bands of heavy rain push through. So if this were to indeed be snow, you could see some snow. I wouldn't bank on it though. This is already by 5 o'clock, and I think that onshore wind's going to be a little bit too much for our local atmosphere to hold on to snow for that long. We'll see though, but I think that would probably be sleet. But we see that rain snow line really starts to move north and west as we head throughout the evening. Eventually getting up to DC by 8 or 9 o'clock. And look at this. Got some pretty moderate rain moving into the region. We could see between 1 to 2 inches of rain tomorrow, especially southern Calvert and southern St. Mary's counties. And Futurecast, I mean, it's taken that rain snow line all the way up to the Mason-Dixon, all the way up here to parts of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I mean, Hagerstown, we normally talk about them getting the best snows out of this type of a setup. Yeah, even they're going to mix. And where I'm up here near Harrisburg in Pennsylvania, we're probably going to see some mixing too. So the good news for tomorrow night that might lead to lower rainfall totals, and this might be difficult for you to see, but what we're looking at here, let me get that illustrator back on. You see this dry slot that's developed right through here that's kind of centered on our region. That would be because our area of low pressure is sitting right here. And what that is allowed, and actually I think what's easier for me to kind of show you and illustrate this for you with is if I were to come over here to our other program. So give me 1 second. But what that is a dry slot that's developing because dry air gets worked into the system. And I'm trying to bring this up on our other weather computer here. So give me just 1 second to get that loaded up. And yeah, this is going to allow me to show you a little bit better. So again, this is the same model loaded into multiple programs. What we have is our area low pressure sitting right through here. And the way that these systems work, right, we have wind that goes counterclockwise around it. So what it's doing is that it's bringing up warm, moist air out ahead of it. And then behind it, we have more of a sinking wind behind it that's bringing in colder air. And what that allows to happen is the dry air on the outside of the system can get brought in. And we talk about this a lot with hurricanes, and they're all kind of the same. I mean, they're all areas of low pressure. We're seeing that dry air really kind of puncture in here to the system, and that could allow for a dry slot to develop, which would really help to bring down potential rain totals across our region. To me, a cold rain is never fun. I don't want to deal with it. But this, coming back over here, this program really allows me to walk you through like an animated version of this. Let me bring it back into our region. That just kind of walked you through that. But then we might see some clearing overnight. Snow continues out west, and again, maybe tomorrow morning, and this is as far as our high resolution futurecast takes us. You see some back end snows try to develop. It's not much. I wouldn't bank on this, and if it does happen, it would probably only be snow showers that might drop a coating. I wouldn't expect much out of this. We'll watch it though. And the way that our futurecast handles snow totals, and I'll show you my snowfall forecast here in just a second. Let me get you on over to snow accumulation. Let's load the loop up here for you, and it's going to come through. So the way our futurecast kind of handles snow totals, you can see that here by 4 o'clock, is that actually 4 o'clock? Yeah. So we saw preset moving in at 2. It doesn't accumulate it that much, our futurecast. And by 4 o'clock, we're starting to see some of those snow totals reach Charles County, where the snow can maybe stick around longer, where you can get a coating. And yeah, maybe you see a coating through parts of our region with that light blue shading. Our model puts down, what is this? Maybe up to an inch. You got to head up into PG and Charles and Anne Arundel County, though, to really see that. In Leonardtown, this is maybe half an inch. Where you start to get these purples, though, that's more like 6 inches of snow or so. And our model, it holds those snowfall accumulations out to the west. This area out here where you see purple, Winchester, Harrisonburg, Cumberland points west, that's your 6 to 12 zone on our model. You get close to maybe 2 inches along I-95, and then you drop off quickly east of there. So this was the snowfall. I'll come back to the wind here in a second, but this was the snowfall forecast I put together for you yesterday that I still think holds true. You might be talking 6 to 12 inches plus out in the mountains from this. 4 to 8 inches along I-81, but totals quickly drop off once you get east of there. I think as you near I-95, maybe you get a quick inch or two. And if I take you to the local snowfall totals, again, maybe you get an inch or two. And right along 301, so we're talking like Newburgh, La Plata, Waldorf, Andrews, points west is where you might be able to squeeze out a quick inch or two before that transition over to rain. Again, it's not much, and there is the potential we see some a little bit of sleet and freezing rain out of this. What I can try to do, and I want to see if it's loaded up in on our models page, is show you that potential here for ice accumulation from this storm. And I think I can get it. So let me bring you on over here. This is a look at inside one of our websites we use to access some of the behind the scenes stuff that goes into my weather forecasting. This is our North American model. And it's almost the same thing as Futurecast. It's a different model, but it shows the same stuff. As we head through tomorrow, you see how it brings in snow to our region. Where's Southern Maryland on this map? For those that can't see, we are right in here. So keep that in mind. And pretty quickly, it might start us as a period of snow, but pretty quickly, I mean, that pink represents sleet, the purple represents a little bit of freezing rain. This model has been the most aggressive with that ice potential as we zoom in. It tries to put a decent area of freezing rain through the region. I don't know how likely that is, though. The warmer waters of the bay lead to warmer air temperatures above the water. And by warmer, we're talking 40s. When we're going to be looking at an onshore flow tomorrow that's coming like this. And that's going to very easily puncture into any cold air we have lingering tomorrow. So I think because we're looking at that, we don't have much elevation to work with. So our temperatures are probably going to warm up pretty quickly. I think, sure, we could see maybe a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, even in Calvert and St. Mary's counties. I don't think it's much, though. And our model here quickly, I mean, moves that north and west. What I want you to notice, though, here on the model, so D.C. is sitting right around here, right, our nation's capital. You do get a decent band here of freezing rain that definitely tries to hold on through Piedmont locations. And this model gets really aggressive, and it even changes the mountains over to sleet and freezing rain. Like it gets the freezing rain line all the way back to Deep Creek. And I think that's over here. Is this freezing rain total? This model, let's kind of zoom in here for you a little bit, right? So I think you should be able to see that easily. This model, again, gets pretty aggressive with the freezing rain. So when we talk about freezing rain totals over 1/10 of an inch, you can start looking at more slick spots. Over 1/4 of an inch, we're talking about more moderate impacts, and over 1/2 an inch, we're talking higher impacts. Our model generally tries to put that amount of ice, about 1/10 of an inch, right through that initial black line, and then you get more like 1/4 of an inch of ice, kind of like out through this region, right? So this would be your 0.25, and then out here would be your 0.1. Your 1/10 of an inch. So that's where you could be looking at issues. I'm definitely much more concerned about it out here along the Piedmont region. They could be looking at power outages. Again, we could look at a little bit of freezing rain. It won't be much, and it definitely won't be like anything we saw last winter with those several ice storms that moved through. This was the ice forecast I put out yesterday, which I still think holds true. Granted, we could see a glaze of ice maybe push a little closer to Waldorf and Annapolis, and a little bit further out towards like Cumberland, Maryland, and the West Virginia mountains. But Central Virginia will be the spot to look at for potential high impacts from freezing rain. Let me take you back on over to our weather program here, and I'll show you. And we tried this yesterday, and I don't know if it's going to work with me today or not. There we go. These are our watches and warnings. You see that purple here represents where we're looking at that winter weather advisory. If we come down here to South and North Carolina, do you see this dark purple here? And this county that's left out should be shaded dark purple. That's your ice storm warning. This is where they're likely looking at over 1/2 an inch of ice, and that ice is going to be a big issue down here, even getting into the Atlanta region. So that's important to keep in mind. But yeah, this is kind of your impact timeline, and I'll still stick with it. Winds might not be as gusty tomorrow, which is good news. I don't know if we get close to 50-mile-an-hour gusts, but we still likely see between 30 and 45-mile-an-hour gusts locally. That might bring down that outage potential, but that's still something we're going to keep an eye on. So yeah. And Brian is saying, yeah, all that snow hype from the beginning of the week. Exactly. And look how, and it's great to see this work in real time, because I feel like in the moment I'll say as much as possible, don't hold on to it, and it doesn't mean much. But this shows you in real time why we don't latch on to that, because the truth is our models show crazy outputs like that all the time. Like when we're like 10, 11, 12 days out, yeah, our models will put down like a 30-inch snowstorm in Southern Maryland, and very quickly that goes away. And that's why I don't like issuing snowfall forecasts more than 48 hours before an event, because it will change a lot. Had I put out a snowfall forecast on Tuesday or on Wednesday, I probably would have had a couple of inches of snow, even in Southern Calvert and St. Mary's counties. That isn't the case. You might see an inch if you're lucky. If you're lucky. I don't think you're that lucky, though, to see it down that far, so. That's yeah, but I do think we have several snow chances coming up. Let me load you up with the 10-day forecast I had issued last night, and I'll update this again today. We do one every day, and that should be there. So let me come back. So this was the 10-day forecast from yesterday. Today, cold. Tomorrow we're talking windy, breezy. Monday, same deal. We have a couple of chances of winter weather trying to come up. The first one will come Wednesday night into Thursday as a cold front passes through. That doesn't look like a big deal. It would be some back-end flakes that likely wouldn't accumulate. We're getting them into the mid-40s Wednesday, so I wouldn't expect much. The next chance will come Friday. That one could be a bigger deal. I don't know if it's a big deal, though. Very limited details on that. Like I was just saying, that's day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's day 7 on the forecast. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm putting that just chances a snowflake there. We'll see Friday evening as a weak system passes off the coastline. And then Sunday and Monday could be our next like actual system to watch, but that's day 9, day 10. So we're going to not talk much about it other than saying there's a chance. But just look at the general theme here is that we're getting cold. By the end of next week going into the week after, we're talking about temperatures that are going to be hanging out around the freezing point. So returning active, I think, and I'm sure what you're going to see happen here, and I think we're going to start seeing this happen because our European model for that Sunday Monday storm just went berserk. And I'll say that it went berserk showing a decent snowstorm. Again, when tomorrow's forecast was where we are right now in relation to next weekend, it was showing the same thing. So take that with a grain of salt. But we're going to see a lot of this change, and there's going to be maybe a couple of days where our models will lose one of these potential snow events. I'm not going to take them off the forecast, though, because I like the overall pattern to see something. We're not going to just hug the models here. So do keep that in mind. But I think the general theme here is cold and potential snow chances for the last 2 weeks of January. We'll see if that is staying power into February, though. I know my winter forecast busted, and it busted low, which is I would prefer that we see more snow than I was forecasting. And those seasonal outlooks are always really iffy to do anyway. But one aspect of the winter forecast I think still holds true is that we're going to see a quick flip to spring. So I don't think we're talking about March snowstorms this year, and I could be wrong with that, and I probably am wrong, but I don't think we're talking about a lot of March snowstorms here. I think once we get the pattern flipped back to 60s and 70s, we're going to stay with that through March, April, May, and we're going to roll right through that. So, and it looks like, and if you hear my phone dinging, my apologies. We have some new alerts coming in from the National Weather Service out of Wakefield, Virginia, which covers our northern neck counties. And yeah, they've gone ahead. So Westmoreland County, Caroline County, you're under that winter weather advisory now too. And if it pops up and it populates in our weather system, I'll show you that when it comes on in. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So if you're upset we're not getting snow out of this one, it's okay. You know, we have already met our seasonal average for snow, actually. We average between 8 inches in far southern St. Mary's and Cabot counties to as much as 12 or 14 inches in Waldorf and Dunkirk. Southern Cabot, southern St. Mary's, last week, between the one big system and the other smaller system, you've seen about 8 inches of snow this year. Northern Calvert, Charles, you've seen between the two systems between 15 to 20 inches now. So we're at, if not a little bit above our seasonal average already. If we saw no more snow this winter, this would be an above average snow year. What I will say, though, is this type of a system we're talking about today, this was the kind of system I was talking about in my winter weather outlook that I thought we would see a lot of. These wintry mess systems that either start as snow and go to rain or start as rain and go to snow. So if we were to subtract that Monday storm, which I would refer to as maybe a little bit of a fluke that it happened, but let's just take that out. This winter so far has kind of gone out to how we thought it might go. We have smaller systems, and when we do get a bigger system, it's a wintry mess, and it's not a huge blizzard. And I don't think we're talking about a big blizzard coming up here. So that's kind of all of that. Let's see, and I see a lot of you, for the most part, are seeing what's just kind of weighing in that, yeah, this is kind of what we expected. Yeah, and Becca, it's for this weekend, and I know, and it might not just totally be your cell or computer service that's a little shaky. The website itself, and I think I just need to get a new web provider, but when there's a lot of web traffic on it, it slows down. And with the way that our web provider, the way it's explained to me, and I'm not an IT person, is that the server, I guess, for my website is kept, it's kind of like an apartment building with other servers, I think. I don't know. And there tends to be on the same unit or building that my server's attached to tends to have issues on another website causes issues than with mine. The way it was explained to me is like if my next door neighbor's being loud and I can hear it, it's that, I don't know. I'm not an IT person, and I'm probably, I don't know. This is why I'm not good at this type, like asking like clarifying questions like when I get my car serviced. I know nothing. And I'm like, oh, that's going on. But that's the way that's been explained to me. So it might not just be, you know, your computer. It might just be the website too. And actually in our we just populated here. So these counties in purple now under that winter weather advisory. So that includes Westmoreland County, Caroline County here. Calvert and St. Mary's were kind of just looking like lonely only twins. Granted, St. Mary's County is under a coastal flood watch, so it really is just Calvert County. If I were to get that loaded here, you would see how lonely Calvert County looks with no advisories at all. Yeah, St. Mary's County got a coastal flood watch. Calvert County, nothing. Thank you, Jeannie. I do appreciate that. And yeah, I gotta keep it, Steven, and I know you've been following for a while, and you know weather too, and you know the crazy solutions that are like, if I wanted to hype this up, I could and be like, oh, we're seeing so much snow, I could have done that, and sure, that would be better for my business model, I guess. I could see more income from that because more people are clicking on links, and that would drive up my web traffic, and I could sell that. However, does that have staying power? No, I think you all want hype-free reporting because that is. It's kind of like when you're trying to get energy, do you go for like healthy food or do you go for junk food? The hype is like the junk food. Sure, you get a quick adrenaline rush and sugar boost. That has no staying power. So, Danielle wants to know about Prince Frederick. Ugh, yeah, you're nuts. Prince Frederick, you might be able to squeeze out a quick inch, maybe before that switch over to rain. So yeah, that's generally what we're talking about. We'll do another one of these tomorrow too. I don't know if we'll need to do live coverage like I thought we might need to a couple days ago. We'll see though. I don't know if we'll need to do live coverage Sunday night. We'll see. Because Monday I have a hair appointment and then I have a minor dental procedure going on. Nothing too big in the afternoon. So I'd like some sleep. And then my semester starts Tuesday, which is crazy. It's my last like academic semester and it's my last spring semester in undergrad. So I'll need some sleep. What I do like though is that last winter break, last school year, we had literally zero snow. All of our snow, and if you remember, last year, all of our winter weather came within a 3-week time period between the end of January and the middle of February. We saw something every few days. And I mean, it was good to cover, but like, I was worn down. This winter, we've at least seen something happen during my winter break where I'm not juggling school as well. So I think we're going to keep the winter weather threats around as I start my spring semester, but I don't think it'll be as crazy as last year, and my schedule isn't necessarily as bad. So we do have some exciting stuff happening here at JB Weather over the next couple of weeks you'll want to stick around for. We have a new look coming, which is nice. And then we'll have some stuff for you to potentially wear. Yeah, I'll speak more about that probably sometime this coming week, but that'll be exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so those are two of the biggest things we have coming up here over the next couple of weeks, and then of course I think we're talking, we're going to keep the snow and cold chances around. And does that have staying power into February? We're not too sure. And for those of you that are still watching, I think you all are the true JB Weather Warriors, and you all are the ones I can trust to show model data to. So what we can do quickly while we're together is I can show you just long-term what it is we're looking at. So first I'll show you our American model. Let's come out here to the East Coast. And what you'll see first, so this is simulated over the next several days. You'll see our storm system come up the coast. We know what's going to happen here. And look, it brings the heaviest snow all the way out to like Erie, Pennsylvania. It's nothing too crazy. Or it is crazy out there, not locally. But that clears out. This is Tuesday, not much. Wednesday, what you'll notice is snow up to the north. That is with an Alberta Clipper. With it will be an extended cold front. That's what's going to swing through here as we head into Wednesday night. And what we'll see happen is that cold front begins. There's that low pressure still. As it moves through, it might bring a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow. It won't be big. I mean, our model maybe puts down light snow. It would be like snow showers, nothing too big Wednesday into Thursday. Friday is going to be the period I'm watching. What I want you to notice here is a clustering of precip off the southeast coast. That's going to be a developing area low pressure I think will be there. The question is how far north or south is it as it tracks out to sea? That'll be the question we have to watch with that. And that's going to move out to sea here. You'll see it develops a little bit as it moves out. And then our model isn't This model isn't showing it too much, but we're going to have then an additional area low pressure that moves along the southeast coastline. I think we'll have 2 back-to-back. Do both become snow producers for us? We're not sure. This model doesn't show much with that. If I show you our European model, and this is the one I'm saying is going crazy. So, and I do feel the need to do this. So this is, not... not a forecast. We'll keep that there for a little bit. You see our weekend storm come through. We see our Alberta Clipper with the cold front draped bring a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain. And then look at this. This would be, and this model's a little slower with it, but it develops southern snow. This is for that Friday-ish system. Timing might be a little different here. That moves off the coast. How much cold air is there? How far north or south does it come? We'll see. And this model tries to get that up into our region. We'll see. And then we see that Sunday and a Monday system. This model isn't as strong with it and takes it out to sea. So it probably will be that one system will produce and the other one won't. I don't think we'll see 2 big systems back to back. But both will, work in tandem together. So that's kind of, I think, what we're talking about here in the long term. So that's just about everything there for you. But we are going to wrap this up. There's not much else to talk about. I'll have more updates throughout the afternoon and evening. Facebook, Twitter. Twitter is at @JB_weather. On Instagram at JBweather. The website jbweather.net. I try to keep the website updated throughout the week, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends I kind of chill back a little bit, take some time. I still do updates, but they're not as formal. It's a weekend, so that's I think what we're talking about. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. Stick around for updates. Granted, I don't think we're going to be changing the map I have up right now too much. So we'll continue to watch how everything kind of plays out. And if there are any changes, I'll let you know. But I am Forecaster John Bordash. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And if you have any plans, go ahead and get them done today. Tomorrow will be a nice day to sit inside, watch some football, or do what it is that you like to do. So have a nice and safe one, y'all.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.